Welcome back to the Corrective Culture Podcast. Today, I believe this is like our third potty, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Because we love you, eh? Gabriella Sassi, welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, everything cleansed today. So basically, if you're starting the cleanse and you need some help, we've got a master. We've got 3 masters of the cleanse here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I just got back from Europe a few days ago, so I'm due. And when I was over there, I got a couple of those, which is last time I had it when I had liver flukes, but it may not have been the liver flukes, could have just been me eating ridiculous amounts of food.
Yeah.
But I'd get like that sharp like pain where it's like someone stabs you in the gut. It was only when I ate because this cruise we're on was like all you can eat restaurants. It was so good, by the way. It was the best food experiences I've ever had from consistently over 10 days.
Yeah,
I've been to better restaurants, but
So how many restaurants are on there?
there's oh man, maybe 12 or something. I don't know. It's huge.
That's pretty sick.
There's like an Italian, there's a Mexican.
Wow,
There's
that's pretty sick.
There's a place that's called The Wake that's amazing. It's all just like a spread. There's like a burger place. It's like 20. You can just go get burgers and they taste like Whoppers whenever you want. All included. This is all you don't have to put your wallet out the whole time.
No way.
And you go to any of these restaurants and it's entrees, mains, desserts. And if you want, I want every entree. Give me 2 of those mains. It's like that.
That's sick.
It's pretty crazy.
Where was it?
It was through Croatia and Greek islands.
Nice.
So we left Athens, went through a few different places, and it was actually such an enjoyable way to travel because you wouldn't think it would be, right? But it was adults only. As we're going on to a cruise talk, whatever. Adults only. And basically you sleep and then you wake up in another country. You go travel in that country for the day. You come back, and to be honest, half of those places, like I was in Santorini, I didn't need more than a day there. I was happy to do it a day, checking it out.
Yeah.
And then you go back because the food was better on the cruise than most of Europe, to be honest. It was really high standard. Like that was what the Virgin was trying to do with it, I think. There's no buffet, it's just you can just order stuff.
That's sick.
It was really good, yeah. And so it worked out to be like $450 a day, I think. But that's thinking about buying your accommodation, your food, your
everything.
flights,
That's
not having to go to an airport and wait 2 hours and lounge and fly.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So how many stops did it have overnight?
We stopped in Mykonos for one night, and then everywhere else was just like day and then leaving in that night again. So Mykonos, Santorini, Corfu, Bodrum in Turkey, Montenegro, Dubrovnik. I think that was...
Fuck, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it was actually
How cool's that?
I was thinking you would love to travel.
That sounds like my favorite thing ever.
It was actually, I couldn't believe it. And it was just a pool party all day long too. Everyone was just vibing. It was actually a sick trip. And everyone on the cruise was like, I'll never do another cruise line now.
Yeah, true.
Because it was just sorted.
That's awesome.
There was a lot of raw seafood on that cruise.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I'm just having everything basically, And I was I was working out beforehand, but trying to stimulate some hunger.
Yeah.
And dude, there's some gnarly people on those ships. It was so bad because we were laughing, and it sounds so mean. And I don't even know if I should say it on the potty right now, but when there's just some people that are just so fucking gnarly, filling up on this Coca-Cola in the morning, and then this guy and it's rude to the waiters too.
Yeah.
Give me bacon, and then they give him so much bacon. He's like, no, I said lots of bacon, and where their existence insults me.
No, for sure.
Well,
that's just so much not awareness,
Yeah.
It's like they've become the sick food they've eaten or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and just just imagine waking up and just going for a Coca-Cola with your eggs.
Yeah.
It's just it's out there, but
It's very out there, but that's sort of a lot of people are raised. I heard Donald Trump the other day doesn't drink water.
Wow.
Yeah, Dana White's you want a water? He's like, no, he doesn't want a water. He wants a Coke. And he's like, it works for him. I'm like, well, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't work for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, he's rich and he's old, but I mean, fuck, you can't be feeling that great.
Yeah, surely he's got some child blood happening too or something, But
yeah.
But
Stem cells.
But yeah, it was. And what I also noticed in Europe, the health culture, they think they're healthy. You know what I mean? I remember I was in Florence, and the guy was like, yeah, what do you think about all healthy foods and things like that? And in my head, I was like, well, maybe to the typical sort of Westerner. Yeah. But I was like, I can see you're all protein deficient, Yeah. And he was telling me he's pretty well got IBS. He can't have pasta.
But I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all these guys I realized they're a bit more frail. And I was like, they have next to no protein, a lot of these guys. They're just having a little bit of pasta here and there, a bit of that. Not everywhere, you know, but there was guys that obviously were into fitness and they would be making sure they're getting it. But it's definitely not in the culture as much. And on the cruise and other places, everyone's got a little layer of like, you know, when you're in Bali, I've noticed we're in Canggu and
Oh yeah, you
everyone's
just get
got a layer of like inflammation or like water weight or fat on them. Like there was no one.
Well, it happens
like,
to me
shredded.
when I go there. Like I feel like I just like around my face and stuff, all
Me
the
too.
places that hold weight.
Yeah.
Even if I'm eating like, you know, you go to those like nice warungs, like the better warungs, and you
Yeah.
get like, you know, your greens and then a little bit of protein. Like how I'd eat here, but you just feel tired after it. And I always feel like I get hay fever there.
Yeah.
No matter what I eat. So I don't know what they're putting on it, but like,
Just
you
oils
just, and
there.
then I look in the mirror some mornings. I look tired. I got bags, and I'm like, I just feel tired. And
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I came home.
yeah, I
just
won't
felt like
go
that every
back.
day.
Like I can't do it. I made a decision the other day. I'm like, I'm not traveling anymore unless I've got organic food. That's it. That's my, no more. It's done.
Yeah, it's I feel like that now. I feel like a little bit tired and just like I can't sleep enough, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll just keep listening to that, keep getting sunlight, and I'll get an Ossobuco today and
Yeah.
go. The good thing about the cleanse during this period is it's winter. So it's cold, slow cooks. Like
It's much easier
I
like
really,
that,
oh
eh?
man, I was over there eating fucking these burgers and that, and I was thinking, I can't wait to cleanse. Like,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
I'm shoving it down my mouth, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be better than what I am right now. Like,
Yeah.
like, you
I
just
can't
think-
imagine you eating a burger actually.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
burgers.
Yeah,
I
me
love-
too. I love a burger.
I'm a sucker for a burger,
Yeah.
but I make good ones at home. I get smoked
Yeah.
brisket and do
Yeah.
everything myself. But
Yeah.
over there, I was like, whatever. But
Good
I was still
sourdough.
pretty good. Like I didn't go nuts on things. Like you could have went nuts on a lot of desserts. Like I dabbled, but
Yeah.
I wasn't hectic.
Well, that's the thing. Like for people listening, like you got to have fun too. When you go to Europe,
definitely.
yeah, you've got to do that. Like,
yeah.
I think we've just done it enough times. You know how shit you feel. It's like, it's really hard to do it.
Yeah, and sometimes people think it like, what do you mean just enjoy yourself? But that's not me enjoying
It doesn't,
myself too much.
it doesn't,
'Cause
like,
it takes away your serotonin.
it does, man. That's
Yeah.
I feel like depressed.
Yeah.
Like when I got back from Japan, it was the lowest. I think I spoke to you when I got back from Japan. But that was the
Yeah.
lowest I've felt my whole life. Like I
Yeah.
started getting anxiety again, and I think I had because of that Klebsiella that I had. I've noticed it. Like I was
Yeah.
like, it was affecting my happiness and even weeing. Like my wee smelt like toxic.
Yeah.
Like it just smelt like not as good as it. You know, it's not clean. But
Wonder what that was.
Klebsiella.
Oh, that could have been the yeah.
Yeah,
And-
you had a bit of an overgrowth of that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
about, I guess, gut terrain and what happens to your whole microbiome when you've been away or been in
Yeah.
a different environment. It completely changes. You're eating different food and
Yeah,
everything as
and
well.
just
It's just
shit
not what you're
food.
used to, you know, it's
Yeah.
not your set point on how you feel.
Nah, and Japan's like, everyone's like, they eat healthy. They don't. There's not a single piece of organic food there. And
Yeah.
it's all sprayed. Like, think what grows in the winter and snow? Like, nothing. And then in summer, that it gets hot and it's muggy and stuff, and they spray
Yeah,
everything.
the food's different.
It's terrible.
Yeah, parasites for sure.
Just
But
parasites.
surely you
yeah.
guys have fun traveling.
yeah. Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like when
I
you're
don't.
when you're snowboarding, obviously you're in the moment. Yeah, you love your
I-
traveling is always like you love doing like
Sports.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I do anymore. I think like I'd
It's
like
not
to
worth it
go.
for you.
Nah, it doesn't outweigh the
Yeah.
health factor.
Yeah, fair.
But that'll change too. Like, you know, when I went to America, I had a chef cook me all organic meals for the whole week. So
Yeah.
that was good because I just felt good. You know, after
Yeah.
the jet lag went away, I felt like I was here.
and you
Yeah.
flew business over there.
Yeah, the business was like, I just stayed awake though. I might as well have been in economy.
Yeah, how's I went to upgrade mine.
How
My
did you
sister's.
stay awake?
yeah, 14 hours.
I went
Oh
to
my
upgrade
gosh.
mine and my sister's flights, and she booked like this one that you couldn't.
Oh, the cheap- the red
and I
deal?
got like 6 business class across the world flights sitting there on their
Yeah.
points. You know.
Oh
what I
no,
mean?
and you couldn't upgrade.
And I couldn't upgrade, and I was like,
Damn.
oh. And I remember at one stage thinking, God, I just wish I was in something else. But
Yeah.
on the way back, oh, this is the coolest shit too. On the way back, so do you know who Chris Vaughan is, the FBI negotiator?
No.
Okay, well he's been all over. Like you would have seen him pop up on. It's on my algorithm anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But it pops up on how to communicate basically, and he used to obviously deal with terrorists and whatnot. But he wrote a book called Never Split the Difference. So you do it in business, you do it in life, you do it wherever. And I've been looking into things like how I was chatting to you about how people don't like try and be good at things. There's so many things you can be better at. Like when we play chess, people just play chess But like, okay, now how do I play chess? I go on YouTube, learn how to play it. You can just be better at things, right? And then I was listening to him talk about try and get a no out of someone instead of a yes when you're talking to them. So when we went up to the person behind the counter at the Emirates and said, you don't say, hey man, do you reckon you can get us a better seat or a seat where no one's sitting next to us? You say, oh, will it annoy you if we ask for a better seat? And they're going to say no instead of yes, right? And even when I say that to you now, feel the energy. Feel the energy when you ask and say your roommate to clean the fridge out, like, oh, do you clean the fridge out? Or can you clean the fridge out? Or instead of, oh man, will it annoy you if I ask you to just clean that shelf out for me? It's different, eh?
It is, yeah.
It's so different. And you're like, where else can I do that? And then we did it. And I watched this guy just love us, basically. Me and my sister. We had one seat each, right? We got 4 seats each in the back middle. We were like only people on the plane that got this. And so I laid down 4 seats the whole flight and just had the best flight ever. And I was thinking, and we manifested beforehand, we were talking about it. And I go, watch this. And then we did. And I was like, man, this shit's taking the piss now, eh?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, what else do you want? But I just asked.
Yeah.
I wanted that and I asked for it. And everyone wanted it. Everyone was coming down like little pig troughs looking for my seats.
Yeah, fully.
And I was like putting my bags on it.
Yeah,
and
100%.
yeah, because everyone was going around the plane like after the seat belts, like to try and get better seats.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking mine. Like,
No, I know. It's worth fighting for that too.
It definitely
like,
is.
yeah, we've all been there, eh? And there's always that couple of stragglers that wait to the bitter end and they're eyeing you off. Like, they're like, you're doing it too?
We heard one person that come out the back and was like, oh, I'm just looking, I got back pain or some shit. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah. Like, well, sit on the floor. You're not taking my seat.
Yeah, because by the end, everyone could have like 2 seats, you know? But
Yeah.
people were getting greedy. Like, oh, I want 3, I want 4. And I was like, this 4 is mine because, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm not fully over the question. So you're asking them a question that they can only give you a no to. So
Yeah,
they
you're looking
can't
for
say
a
yes.
no instead of a yes.
So that then they.
So
what's
it's sort
the
of like
thing behind that.
Like, see how, just feel it like, like they don't want to be, no, like, will it annoy you if I ask for this? They're going to say, yes, it will annoy me. They're not going to say that.
Yeah.
They're going to say, nah, it won't annoy me. Like, what are you after?
Yeah, okay.
Instead of giving, like, give me something, instead of like,
Yeah.
hey, can I have this?
And it's kind of funny as well. And it gives it a lighter tune.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
putting them on the, almost above you in a subtle way. And they feel like, oh, I'll help you out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But it's just, it
I'm
works.
going to try that.
So I was like, where else can you do it? Like next time you have a coffee, like, oh, I asked for honey in this or whatever, in my coffee and they didn't, you'd be like, oh man, will it annoy you or if say you didn't ask and then you want it in there afterwards, will it annoy you if I ask for honey for this or something? And I know it wouldn't if you just asked for honey anyway, but still it's an example for
Yeah.
where else can you think of that?
And I remember Jordan Peterson saying once, like, how do you make if you make someone feel appreciated, they'll do it again for you.
Yeah, because
So
it's like acknowledging them and their
in a
work.
relationship, like if your partner cleans for you or cooks for you, you don't just like take it and just fucking
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah,
I've
you're
seen
like
mistakes
thank
people
you,
make.
like that's
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, and they're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
nice,
they love
and
it.
vice versa, it works
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
game.
So anyway,
Yeah,
Parasite cleanse. So it's coming up. So for people, because there's the idea out there, and it is a good idea, right? Where people, if they have leaky gut, should ideally do something about that before they go on antimicrobials, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're not going to know, not everyone's going to know they have leaky gut.
That's my next question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask that one first?
Yeah. So like for someone that wonders, oh, do I jump on the cleanse? Do I chuck in this, or do I do a leaky gut protocol? How do they know?
So many things. So I guess leaky gut just firstly is intestinal permeability. So it's when your membranes in your gut lining are a little bit permeable. So things are entering into the bloodstream, and then that can trigger an immune response. And it's really common, like everyone's probably had it at some point in their life. And chronic stress can do it, just pain.
I know exercise can do it. hey?
Exercise, a lot of athletes have it. So it's not like a
Inflammation,
big thing that is like, a serious problem, but obviously it can become like that. So, you're getting all the same symptoms, all the gut symptoms. If you think you have it, you're having bloating, pain elsewhere in the body. Like, you might have arthritic type pains, joint pains, brain fog, like all the same symptoms that you guys talk about. Be curious about any of those, really. That's when you think you might have leaky gut. But I guess it's for if you have an autoimmune disease, a known one, or something that you've been struggling with for a long time, it's likely that there is a bit of leaky gut, and that can be caused from parasites. It can be caused from gut bacteria like pathogens or pathobionts. So it's really hard to know, but if you're curious about it and you're getting something that's more like niggly and it's been happening for a long time, then it's probably that. And yeah, you're working, it's not really, if you're doing some prep work on your leaky gut, it's really working with the immune response. So really working to stabilize your immune system and, you know, repair the gut lining a little bit before you start on antimicrobials. So it's not as much of a die-off reaction and you're not getting like serious symptoms. Yeah.
So how long would someone want to do something like, because obviously it's like almost like they'll be starting a pre-cleanse cleanse without the microbials, right? Because they definitely need to cut out the foods that would be irritating it, which would be probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then how long would they want to be doing that for, and what supplements would they be having that you use to try and seal the gut lining as much as possible, at least?
Yeah. So if it's something more chronic, I'd definitely be seeing a naturopath for guidance, because there is definitely different things for everyone. But you'd want to already start to bring out those inflammatory foods before you start the cleanse, so it's not a big shock, because they're the foods that are going to be, you know, seed oils and sugar and blah, blah, blah. That's all going to be affecting your gut a lot. So bringing that out maybe 6 weeks before or even 4 weeks before, and then potentially getting on a probiotic that has SB in it, so Saccharomyces boulardii, that's pushes out pathogens naturally and actually repairs the, modulates secretory IgA. Do you guys know what that is?
Is that the immunoglobulin?
Yeah.
So it's good for sealing the gut, isn't it?
Yeah, it basically just modulates, that is the gut's first response, immune response. So it'll try to modulate that. It depends on how bad it is for you, and you can see that in a gut test. But yeah, you'll instantly start to feel better when you're having it. So some people, I don't really actually ever see anyone that can't have SB.
Cool.
That's the short name for it. Like no
I
one
see
really
everyone's
reacts
talking
to
about SB
it.
at the moment. Everyone's like saying SB is the one.
Yeah,
So if you
SB's
get food poisoning.
I
or
use
whatever.
it every day in clinic. It's the best.
Okay. Is it in cultures?
Yeah,
It is,
it will be in cultures. It's in Kirsty's cultures.
Cool.
It's in fermented food. Yeah, so getting onto that, but you need a therapeutic dose for it to really have an effect. And probiotics, you can start to have fermented food, but if you do have a lot of dysbiosis, so bacteria overgrowth, fermented food might not work for you straight away. So just getting onto maybe an SB, glutamine, you can do like aloe vera juice. So anything that's going to soothe the gut lining, bone broth, all the amino acids, that's going to help. So if you're like new to everything, you can just start with all the food-based stuff first.
Yeah.
And then get onto supplements. So lots of different types. Slippery elm is also really good, and you can get that from health food store, organic. Make sure your bowels are moving. So that's a really important one for pre-cleanse prep, because if you go into a cleanse already constipated, that is going to make you have very serious die-off symptoms. Not serious, but like, you're going to get the skin things, you're going to feel tired. It's just going to be a shock, and then you're just holding all those things inside.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're not clearing, your detox pathways are not open enough. So
okay.
Yeah, just to summarize, like 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks is a really good amount of time to start thinking about it and implementing some things.
Yeah. Cool. So for some of you that do think you might have something like that and do want to, say, work with yourself and doing that, because when we do the cleanse, you don't have to actually start the same day we do. You start whenever you want.
Yeah.
Some people like to start a week or two after so they can see what we're doing already and then just jump on. Yeah. So the timing is just when we're doing it, but
yeah, and I have had some actually people from the podcast previously that have been curious about that, and they've come to see me, and we've worked on it for 4 weeks, and then they go into the cleanse and they get a really good outcome from the cleanse, because I've talked about food reintroduction and just like kind of giving them the heads up, even though you guys do that already, on what they might feel. But if there's anything underlying, that's kind of addressed. But it doesn't matter really. Like if you're a healthy person doing the cleanse straight away, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, for 99% it is. 99% of people, like when they just cut out the shitty food, they're going to feel pretty good. Yeah. It's like myself. It's really a challenge for me, because it's like I treat it like a fitness challenge at the same time. I love the 3. Oh, this is a good question, because for the women we have this optional 24-hour like broth fast or liquid fast, right?
Yeah.
For the guys, same thing, optional. They're both optional. for 1 to 3 days for the guys. I do 3 days because I fast fine. I feel really well. Actually, my brain doesn't work good by the end of it, but my skin looks really good, and I love just ripping up for those 3 days.
Yeah, it's like a reset, eh?
Yeah, and I think I told you how my resting heart rate went down after I did those fasts, and they stayed down when I started eating again.
Yeah.
After months too, from like a couple of beats. I don't know what happened during it, but it happened twice. And now it's still low. So yeah, in regards to, because that was sort of in there just to like literally give some people like a rest from food.
Yeah.
You know, especially in that start period.
And the option too, like if you want to do it, like I don't really fast that well, so I've done 2 days, but you don't have to fast.
Yeah, you don't have to fast.
Yeah, it's like
I just want to because
yeah,
I just like the way it feels.
fuck yeah, I wish I felt like that.
Yeah. So
yeah, you've got very different fasting capacities, don't you?
Yeah,
probably.
well, I like because I've been like so into my diet lately and figuring out what works and what doesn't. Like, I can't fast. Like, even skipping meals is really like, yeah, I'm just sensitive.
Yeah.
Like I'd just say I'd be very sensitive, and I've been like it my whole life. But after getting my bloods and everything back, and talking to you, I was like, oh, it all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you can definitely pick it, you know, straight away clinically. I can see when fasting will suit people and when it won't. It depends on the stage that you're in, obviously, and what's happening in your environment. But if you've had a nervous system that's highly alert, you might not even know. It might just be like a mind thing too. You're sensitive to fasting, and it's a bit harder to get into that state. Yeah, and your serotonin levels change as well. Like like you mentioned as well with, you know, bugs and whatever else you've got going, dysbiosis in the gut, inflammation in the gut. Which can make you have different symptoms, depression and things like that.
Yeah, well, my experience is like nothing's really worked for me except meditation.
Yeah.
Calming my nervous system down. So like, and I know that like high cortisol is obviously going to be the one thing that turns everything to stress. It doesn't matter what you could eat organic, but if you're in a completely stressed state constantly, I'm not talking about like mental emotional stress. I'm talking about like deep seated like subconscious stress, like when your body's like stressed and you think you're fine. But there's like 2 types of stress. So there's voluntary and involuntary. So once I got to that, I was like, well, I'm really like highly strung, and I was blaming the foods and everything like that. But I think like once I sat still with myself, it felt so different.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck it. Like, and also like being able to just slow my mind down enough to look into my body.
Yeah.
That's been cool, and seeing what comes up.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been able to get anywhere with it? Because I think sometimes it's also like that's just who we are as well, and like how we are kind of, you know, we're brought into the world or whatever. It's it's a part of our personality too. It's biochemical, but
you mean the stress?
Yeah. Sometimes,
well,
in terms of like we're not meant to be in that state, but like sometimes we are just a bit more sensitive.
Yeah,
and that's just our makeup.
100%, and I think that's me for sure. But there's things you can do to help it, and I think like, you know, my mum smoked through having me.
Yeah.
And I know I did a bit of research on that, and that usually leads to high cortisol in babies and growing up. Because
definitely.
It's like people say that I had high cortisol, but it's kind of always how I felt.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's good to meditate and see my mind. Because like once I slow my mind down, like I've had states now where I feel like I'm not even breathing. Like I'm so calm, my nervous system's so calm where it feels like it's just like slow. It's like if you were on water, the water wouldn't be moving. It's like it just feels like it's so slow and calm. And when I sit at the start of the meditation, it's very not like that. Like I can feel food in my tummy. I can feel like I haven't digested it. I can just feel like my breathing's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's just your involuntary nervous system. So the way you calm that is just stop thinking. So that's just, you know, long story short, that's helped me a lot. Because when I started that, my gut pain went away.
Yeah.
Like that week. And I was like, I've tried it. I tried everything. Yeah. And it's like, I think it's a bit of, you know, working with a naturopath and obviously cutting out carbohydrates like the cleanse, like cutting out rice, white potato, and the stuff you love so much.
Yeah.
Usually it's the stuff you love the most that's causing the biggest problem.
Totally.
Yeah. So cutting that out, but then adding in meditation or a vagal nerve release, whatever it is.
So
like,
important.
Yeah.
That's a massive part.
It's a massive
healing.
missing link, I think.
Yeah, the stress.
Yeah.
I find that, in clinic, it's something that I constantly talk about, and it's pretty given. Like stress will definitely cause you gut issues.
Yeah.
But asking people to change that is, or like facilitating them to change that is, it's hard because it requires so much time.
Yeah, it does.
They need to do that. You know,
tell someone to sit with themselves for 10 minutes. That you're going to face some stuff that you probably don't want to face. And it's like, that's why it's hard. But fuck, it's either that or you die sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you need to sit with yourself and see what's going on. Because like you can't otherwise. It's just a shit show of fucking
you're just
everything.
on 100 supplements,
7
different protocols, and you just get more stressed.
You can't see really what's going on unless you slow down a little bit, hey?
No.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something. As you were saying that, the 100 supplements thing, because I've been thinking about this, right? I saw this guy do a video the other day, this bodybuilder type fitness dude, very evidence-based, and talking about creatine and 10 grams of creatine and its safe doses. And I was like, 10 grams. And I went on to ChatGPT. I was like, how much meat do you need to eat to get 10 grams? And it was like 2.5 kilos or something, right? and then I was like, I was going to the comments, you know, and I know this is anecdotal, right? But you go into the comments like, yeah, but I got to piss like every 10 minutes when I do this, or yeah, it makes my skin break out, or this person was like, I know this, they say it doesn't make your hair fall out, but fuck, my hair was definitely falling out when I took it, you know, like, and that's like one of the myths that have attached to it.
Yeah. Fully.
And kidney, and then he was like, yeah, you don't have it if you have kidney issues, you know? But I was like, well, why don't you have it if you have kidney issues? Like, what if you had good kidneys? Like, is that still something? That's still a sign to me. Like, I don't want to eventually get the kidney issues. I know you can get 100 people and put them and give it to them and shit, but fuck, what if that person's, like you said, not meditating, is sleeping 4 hours? Like, they're definitely not quantifying all that. So, and then even the science coming out on old people with their brain. But I'm like, yeah, but what are those old people eating this much meat? Is their meat organic? Like, are they getting to bed? Like, so I can see there's a pro, right? It's like a tool, you know?
Yeah.
It's like anything. But what's your thoughts on creatine?
I think it's good for some people, but like, why do we need it? If you're getting a good diet, like
fully.
what is the purpose?
Yeah.
I don't know.
To build muscle, man.
Yeah, it makes them hold on to water weight, and then they're pissing every 10 minutes.
I mean, not against it. It's not going to be unhealthy for you, but if you're doing your diet right, if you're training in the right way that you need to for your body, you know, maybe work with a trainer first before you need to go there and take creatine as well. Because, as you saw when you were taking it, as, you know, you had that elevated blood marker.
Yeah, creatine kinase.
Yeah, which is fine.
Was
but
that
you don't
from
want
that,
anything.
do you reckon? Like, I wasn't really having that too much. I was having it fuck all.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
I think because I did have the gene, remember?
Yeah.
I had the gene that showed that I would have high creatine kinase levels or something as well. And I did a workout the day before.
That's right. And it was a pretty heavy workout. Okay, sorry, let's take that back.
But still, I probably don't need to have the creatine. And plus, when I did have creatine, I was like, I don't feel anything. Some people are like, I feel great. But I'm like, but I eat probably meat. I
guess it's a big thing in the fitness world, I guess. And I'm not really in that field. It's not really an area of focus. But I just think if you're getting a good diet, unless you need it for a particular reason, like health-wise, then why do you need to take 10 grams?
Yeah. Well, their whole thing's built off like building muscle and becoming big.
Yeah.
Which, like, basically they all want to be bodybuilders.
Yeah.
If you look at the whole fitness industry.
Yeah.
Unless they're in sports and rehab and stuff like that.
I mean, how I would think of it is, you know, if someone needs to build muscle and they need a bit of help with creatine, like, are they building muscle because they need to regulate their insulin? You know, do they have, are women needing to take it, you know, in menopause when they need more muscle mass, or, you know, when they're losing bone? So that's how I would really think about it in a clinical way, rather than more of a physical,
aesthetic,
visual,
like to look good on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it looks that great.
Well, I don't think it makes you fucking look good. It makes you puffy and shit.
Yeah,
like.
for
yeah,
sure.
it just looks unhealthy to me. It looks like
yeah. Oh, I hate. Yeah, I don't like it, and I've tried it too. I hated it. It made my stomach feel so bad.
Yeah.
It goes back to like we're all different. It's like you can't just say creatine's good for everyone and blanket it, because it's not. It's probably going to cause someone like illness.
Yeah.
And then there's like, no, the science is
the most
studied supplement out there. I'm like,
well,
right,
something needs to be studied and researched for a long time before it's you know credited. So there's probably other things that you can do as well that aren't focused on.
Yeah.
Always be curious about
eat
that.
a steak.
I just think, the steak, like as soon as I hear 2.5 kilos of, I'm like, oh, there's got to be a cost somewhere in the body. Has to be a cost. You can't just pump out
Yeah.
2.5 kilos of meat synthetically. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, and then some people get migraines from it. Like,
Yeah.
if that person gets a migraine, what's it doing to that person that maybe isn't feeling so much? But
Yeah.
there's something little scratch on their kidney or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
When you're taking something or you're using a supplement, it shouldn't throw out another system in your body, like your kidneys or whatever. It's not working for you at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So the prep, right? They want to. You spoke about the aloe vera. So do you use colostrum?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, colostrum is great. So that's going to help your gut immunity as well and secrete your IgA. And that's really available as well. You can get it online at a retail.
Yep.
You don't have to see a naturopath to get that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading up on with athletes how it like did something where basically the separation of the villi was less when they were having colostrum post their like long runs or whatever.
Because it modulates secretory IgA. It's got those immunoglobulins. So a really good product that was forgotten about for a few years. And now it's, getting used a lot again in the naturopathic world. And it's really good for kids at the same time. You can hide it in smoothies. It can be in it's tasteless. It's just and everyone can be on that full time.
Oh, colostrum.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Thought you were about
sorry.
to drop another name or
No.
something. Yeah,
You guys were waiting. I was like,
it up.
no, sorry, I don't have any new news on that. But
Vitamin A.
yeah. That's, going to work with your secretory IgA. Probiotics are always a thing, having some kind of fermented food.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then there's all the techie stuff that you'd see a naturopath for, specific doses of glutamine. Glutamine's not going to be harmful if you take it, like 5 grams a day, and that will repair the gut lining as well.
Nice.
But if you can get it in whole foods, anything is better whole foods.
Yeah.
Amino acids, you can get really good quality amino acids, not for muscle building, but just to repair your gut lining as well.
Yeah.
I use that a lot with my vegetarian clients. Not that you probably
Yeah.
have anyone vegetarian on
No.
your protocol, but
Yeah. So, and for those amino acids, is that like, if you're thinking food, is that where like the Ozobucos and the slow cook,
of course,
short cook stocks are?
yeah, definitely.
So they're the
Bone
ones-
broth,
Yeah.
protein, everything food based, much better.
That's such an important thing, I think. Like, how you're saying all that stuff, like whole foods is obviously the best. What I wanted to add is like, what's really helped me is like getting advice from you and people who really know what they're talking about, but also listening to your body on how you feel.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel good on aminos. I feel good on like a little bit of bone broth. If I have too much, I feel sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, don't just trust, like put people up on a pedestal and trust them. It's like have that feeling of what your body feels like after it and the next day.
Yeah.
Like, and for the day after that. And I think it's been and I was guilty of this. This is more just like me venting.
Yeah.
But
No, I
I was
agree.
like, I'll trust whatever anyone gives me because they know what they're talking about. But it's like, well, go inward and see what actually is happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. And if you're in tune with your body, you'll know. And I always
Yeah.
get clients I'll recommend stuff and I'll say, how does that sit with you? How do you think you'll feel doing this? Like
Yeah.
always like try and push them into guiding their body as
Yeah,
well. Because
you're
it's-
really good like that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I try to because everyone's very different.
Yeah.
And, not everyone's going to want to drink 5 cups of bone broth a day.
Yeah.
Like just start small. When did we need to drink 5 cups of bone broth
Yeah,
a day?
yeah.
Like I don't
Fully,
think we've
hey.
ever needed to do that
Yeah.
unless you're really ill,
Yeah.
and you're needing that nutrients.
And I think like TikTok brain's a real thing. It's like how are you supposed to feel your body if you're constantly scrolling or just like I couldn't even, it got to a
Yeah.
point where I couldn't even
Yeah.
watch a movie. Like
because you were just too
I just think I was just too jacked up.
I've definitely been there.
Like
I
I was
understand.
just like I couldn't even read. Like the joy I'm getting out of reading now just from slowing my thoughts down is
Yeah.
so like I'm like, oh, I never want to go back to the way I was. Like I was
I
just
know.
like TV and then like scrolling and then chess and
yeah,
then like fucking,
I literally
you know what I
feel
mean?
the same. I'm in that state at the moment. It's so good.
Playing 5-minute
you
blitz
just want to
waiting
kind
for
of
shit.
And I think we all are, right? Like I think like we fall into that because like it's fun.
yeah,
But like it does require a little discipline to just sit.
it does. Or just as soon as you acknowledge it, you're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
how did that?
Yeah, well, I thought I was too far gone. I was like, I'm surely not going to be able to go back to reading. Like now I've had crack.
You have to
like
force yourself.
it feels like I've had
It's so
TikTok
true.
crack.
I had to have a good chat to myself about that.
Yeah.
When I was in Bali, actually, I had a lot of time just solo. And even though it's so stimulating there, I was like the calmest because I was doing everything was just really slow.
Yeah.
And I had no one asking me to catch up. I did have friends there, but I was super strict on my time and everything.
Yeah,
and I just
nice.
fully got back into
Cool.
reading and whatever. And it's such a stimulating place that I had to really, I figured that out as well.
Yeah.
It was such a shock.
It is, eh?
I was
It's like a
came back home
dopamine
and I was
reset.
like, wow.
Yeah, how good's
What was
having
happening?
purpose, eh? Like when you talk about what you're getting into now and your business and it's all growing and it's purpose and it's purpose for the service. And because I was thinking about like, you know, you see it like where people just go down these like hedonistic paths of like self-pleasure of constant, and that's us too, right? But like where it's pure self-pleasure because the 9 to 5 isn't their sole purpose. And some people it is, but the 9 to 5 isn't their sole purpose. So everything outside of that is self-pleasure. And that isn't really even happiness, you know?
No.
Like when I was traveling, I was loving it. But then I was still thinking like, oh, there's no feeling like when you're working on your company or studying or when I read a book about the body or whatever it is, even with a client, there's nothing that touches on that. Nothing that comes close, no matter what I could do out there in the world, fun-wise, which is the normal fun, it still doesn't touch on that. And everything else is so temporary. And but it's hard. For some reason, it's hard to still sit down. I love reading a book about the body, but it's still sometimes hard for me to go do that because it's, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know, eh?
But it's what I'm meant to do. And whenever I do, I'm like, oh, this is my...
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
it's
actually
not your
meant to do.
stage. Maybe you're just not
My what?
not your stage yet. Maybe you just don't need to do that yet.
Like-
Maybe you've got other areas of focus for now.
Well,
Like you could be in a
I touch on them. I definitely do. But whenever I do, like if if I'm doing something for body workers or I'm like reading about the shoulder, I know that's what I'm meant to do. I'm like, oh, I got to do heaps more of this because whenever I do this, there's a happiness that sticks around for the rest of the day.
yeah.
If I've done a little bit of it,
Yeah.
you know, even 90 minutes of it, it's like a different.
Well, yeah, it
Aura.
helps you, but what you're saying is that it's sometimes hard to get there.
If you don't have that,
Yeah. Well, say it's like
you don't know what
you're
it is.
sitting down
Yeah.
and you're eating and you're like, oh fuck, I should probably study.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, and then your mate calls you and you're like, we're going to the beach.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's probably what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and it's like, so
okay. Total opposite to what I thought you were trying to say.
Right, I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
So so what I've been told, and I think it's so spot on, is like the hardest part is getting to the chair to sit still. Once you're there, it's easy.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah,
that's the discipline. It's like the okay, I'm just gonna sit down, open the book. Once you open the book, you're like, this feels good. This is what the fuck I'm meant to be doing. You know,
Yeah,
like it's just
yeah.
like the first like
Yeah. But also knowing that you meant to go read that book. Like for a lot of the crew don't know what their thing is. Everyone's
Yeah.
got their special gift.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't living their special gift. And you can see their special gift in them, you know?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they haven't found a way to structure it, I guess, to bring in money around whatever that looks like.
yeah, or have the self belief to start.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
'cause obviously it doesn't take. It
So
takes a
like
while.
if you don't have that guidance, then life is going to be full of TikTok brain and
Yeah.
full of just doing the fun thing all the time.
Yeah.
And then work and the fun thing and work. But like that's almost not living. That's
Nah.
like that's on autopilot sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I think you said it ages ago where it's like when you meditate, that's when you're actually thinking.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? When
Yeah.
like you say you go to meditate to not think, but when you meditate, that's when you're actually thinking. The rest is just happening to you all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like on autopilot.
And in that book that we've been reading, Awareness by Anthony DeMello, he talks about like me is the thoughts, like me, my stuff, my doing, everything I'm doing. But like behind that is the I, and the I-ness is watching the me. So if you can watch the me, that's really you.
Yeah.
And that requires like some getting quiet, I think.
Yeah.
There's levels to it, eh?
What's been the biggest? Jake's just started doing these like new type of meditations, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just because you've done a qigong and all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
But this one's just 10 minutes. Is it 10 minutes?
I'm doing 20s now.
20s
but,
now?
But only when I want to. Like
Yeah.
I'm not attached to the time. I'm just kind of whatever.
And of just purely watching the thoughts. So no other system. Just watching the thoughts and sitting, not like doing the qigong, tai chi ruler or anything. So what do you reckon? Is there any huge breakaway you've taken from that? A realization? I mean, you sort of said it today, how you sat down. You're like, oh, a thought is just an emotion that, what did you say?
A thought is just a feeling that has like a thought. So when you think, it's attached to a feeling, and that feeling is not you.
Yeah.
So like so then you think of like, well, who am I really? Like if you asked yourself like, who am I? And you're like, well, I'm Jake. Like I used to be a bodybuilder. I own corrective culture with Callan. Like I've got all this stuff, but that's not really who I am. Like underneath that, like you're a part of everything. But we sat there for an hour the other day breaking down like who I am, and it got to the point where I was like, I couldn't even feel my body. I was like, I'm nothing. Yeah, it's fucking hectic. But it's like, and then when I got to that point, I had the craziest, almost out of body experience, and I couldn't feel my body, and I was like, oh, this is too much almost like. But I had a lot of fear and terror come up, and I sat with that. But anyway, that's just like talking about, it's just words really. But yeah,
No,
I think
that's
like,
so interesting.
yeah, like I think the biggest thing I've taken away from it, and I was going to do a thing for corrective on it, is like, don't gain the world and lose your soul.
Yeah.
And like that's such a deep saying, because like everything that we have is material, and then when your soul, like all your soul wants is for you to be quiet and stop thinking. I don't know. It's helped me a lot, because I can really see who I am authentically.
Yeah.
And feel good about that, and also taste the beauty in reading, and taste the beauty in working on the yard or being on the beach better.
Yeah.
Because I just got to a point where I was so rushed in my head. By the way, this is just through Mitch Hunter. He's a great meditation coach, and he's helped me so much. Like he asked me the first week, he was like, what do you want out of this? And I said, I just feel like I'm in a rush all the time. I just want to slow down. I'm so sick of, I feel exhausted. And then a week went by meditating 3 times a day, and he's like, how do you feel this week? And I'm like, I feel so good. He's like, so have we met? And I'd already fixed that, and I was already moved past that in my head, because I didn't realize, but I was not rushed anymore. I just don't want to be in a rush. Why be in a rush for anything?
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
We did a podcast with him a month or so ago. So
I'll
if you
have
want
to listen to it.
that,
Yeah, I will.
Cool dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it called?
He's a cool dude, but his name's Mitch Hunter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I believe that he's like our Australian Ram Dass.
Really?
Yeah, and I asked for a mentor, and he came to
He
us,
just
and he's
popped
like,
up.
he didn't even know how he got here. He's like, oh, my friend booked this in. Like, he's like, what are we doing? We're doing a podcast. Like you remember?
He just rocked up.
And he was like, yeah, but he's just, like he's
He
just
used to
like,
be a physio.
yeah, he used to
That's
like a
cool.
great physio,
physio.
studied under Rob McKenzie and
Okay.
stuff
He's
like
He's a
that.
professor,
But
yeah.
highly recommend booking in with him if you want to practice some mindfulness,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
basically what he does is he'll sit there and do 2-minute blocks with you and say, think. and you go, watch what you're thinking. And then you tell him what you're thinking, and he kind of gets he's like a mind architect. He'll see where you're getting stuck. But man,
So
he like
interesting.
held my hand in this dark terror place the other day that I've been feeling, I think, since birth.
Yeah.
And it was like I was just like, oh my God, fuck, like magic's real. Like it was the
Yeah.
first time I experienced basically somewhat of like a samadhi state, or something that was like, I just was not me anymore. And I'd kind of don't even know what I was like.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it would be similar to like, I don't know, a mushroom trip, or the start of a mushroom trip. I don't know. I've never done it. Like,
That'd be more DMT, I reckon.
Yeah,
That
okay.
sounds more intense than mushrooms.
yeah, but the crazy thing is, like, I didn't take anything, and I wasn't, all he did to me for an hour was just like, just keep hammering me with like who I am. And my mind couldn't comprehend it. So at the end, it just broke.
Yeah.
My mind just was like, and then I was like, it was like, I didn't know whether I wanted to cry or fucking be the happiest I've ever been. I just didn't know what I was like,
Sounds pretty amazing.
But then having a mentor who can sit there with you, and he could feel it, because he wouldn't have been able to see me having that experience, but he's like, okay, it's happening now. This is where you need to just like look at it. Don't look away. And I was like, how the fuck can he see that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That takes some pretty, I don't know what that is,
That's some
dude.
tapped in shit.
That's some tapped in shit, and it's
Yeah.
not of this world. It's like,
No.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Fuck. Well, remember when we went to the psychic, she goes to Jake, you're going to go very deep in this life. You're going to go deeper and deeper into your 40s
Yeah.
and that. Which is funny enough. It's so funny because we joke about that he's going to be our guru.
Yeah, maybe you are, Jake.
Me and Harry all the time. Like, yeah, we're going around with guru. It's so sick.
Can't wait.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to be a guru.
Like, what was that word, that line you just dropped before? And I was just like, don't let you. What was that line? You do that shit all the time.
Oh yeah, don't gain the world and lose your soul.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
should be it.
Chuck that on a shirt.
Baseline.
Yeah. I did a little chat GPT thing of it because I was going to post on thing, and it just the guy looked like too much of a badass.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, he looks cool. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of makes you want to lose your soul because he was sitting there with a cigar with all his money. I was like, oh, that's not going to work.
So, back to the superficial stuff. Okay, so for this cleanse protocol, right? And let's say they've sealed they've done their best. They've cut out the inflammatory foods beforehand. They've, hopefully they don't have the leaky gut. Going through the process of like, I know we spoke about this before, but it's good to recap on like constipation can be a big one for some people in it. Not sure what is it, the stress that causes the constipation, or it could be some people may react to psyllium husk. I know psyllium husk can be good for some people.
Yeah.
So there's colonics that people have been doing.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's probably the biggest sort of thing. You'll get some, generally it's more females saying, oh, I'm only going once a day or whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, do you have because this is that would be common that you would see too, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a client that says, oh, I'm struggling to go while I'm doing a cleanse, what's your go-to approach for that? Obviously drinking lots of water and
Yeah. So just during a cleanse, is that what you're saying? Or it's been like an ongoing thing?
Well, actually, funny you saying that. My roommate's got a bit of an ongoing
thing
with constipation right now.
So if they're already mid-cleanse, it has to be dealt with like straight away, because otherwise you're accumulating all the detoxes and you're not actually shifting anything, so they're going to feel worse. So naturopathically, I might add some herbs in that will help stimulate the bowel or stimulate bile flow. So if they're mid-cleanse, you could up the bitter greens. You could do apple cider vinegar before meals. I don't know if you're doing that already. Making sure you're very hydrated. Psyllium husk for someone who's constipated might make it worse because it draws all the water to the bowel. So then and it can make you more constipated basically, and then it's not shifting through. So I'd recommend starting with like a low dose psyllium husk, like half a teaspoon 3 times a day, and then up to 1 teaspoon twice a day, and then like increment until the bowel start moving. But yeah, obviously if you're mid-cleanse, like you'd probably need to do an enema, like a coffee enema or a colonic if you're not moving. Breath work, meditation, everything that you can possibly do for your vagal tone. Do you talk about vagal tone in your cleanse?
No.
Not really, nah.
No.
I just don't know a lot about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert, but it definitely has, like, people who struggle with long-term constipation will have that gut-brain connection that's a bit slow, so the vagal tone is not there. So you can start doing, and this is vagal tone is a nerve basically that runs
connects
from
your brain to your
connects
gut.
your brain to your gut.
And it's super quick, It's like as soon as you put the food in your mouth, your gut, it tells your gut whether or not it's okay.
Yeah. So if there's a disconnect in that, you're not going to have any movement. It's going to be slow. You're going to have more fermentation in your bowel. You're going to have bacteria overgrowth, parasites, everything will happen because the gut environment has changed because you're constipated. But so that basically can be stemming from something way back. That can be something from your childhood. It can be a trauma, like a brain trauma, a head injury, can be a thyroid problem, so many things when you've got low vagal tone. It can just be depression as well. But so making sure you're stimulating that's everything nervous system related. That's being conscious when you're eating, chewing, that you can do gargling, that all activates it. What else? Singing, like lots of things that where you're using your voice box, like that's all good for your vagal tone, and that will lead to better bowel movements. On obviously water, 2 liters, 3 liters of water today per body weight, whatever you are. You can try having the apple cider vinegar before meals. That's a biostimulant. It's also going to, and bitter greens, like I said before, like how lots of cultures have salad, like bitter salads and stuff before they eat their proper meals.
Rocket?
Yeah, rocket.
Yeah.
That can be, but honestly, if someone's really constipated, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But so laxatives, like not laxatives, but herbal stimulants are called laxative, like they have a laxative effect. So cascara, which I think is that in one
That's
of
in
your
purge.
Yeah.
Psyllium husk is in extract.
yeah. So
So like centerleaf tea and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you can do anything. Like dandelion tea is very good because your liver is obviously going to be cleansing all the toxins that are coming through as well. So supporting your liver with, sprouts, broccoli sprouts, cruciferous veggies, the bitter greens. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember.
That's good.
There's so much.
Yeah, it's gold.
Yeah, dandelion tea. So dandelion root is a herb that I use a lot for liver renewal as well. So the tea could be good for some people at the same time. Anything kind of, you can steep your own dandelion leaves as well.
I love
So,
dandelion.
yeah, me too. And it's a good replacement to coffee for some people.
It's the best. Yeah, like my recipe for dandelion is get a French press, get the dandelion leaves, and then make it like a coffee.
Yeah.
And then basically make a bulletproof with it
Yeah, nice.
with coconut milk.
That sounds
yeah,
good.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's like, that and then rotating between that and hot cacaos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're
good.
really off the coffee, aren't you? I love it.
Oh no, I'm actually drinking coffee.
Oh, just a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had
Good
one today yet.
alternatives.
But
Yeah, I mean, I've just been having one a day, which feels pretty good. But I've noticed definitely more sensitive now. So it's like bulletproofs are actually good, and the other one's not.
Yeah, because it's got the fat in it.
But
to
I have
help
raw
you.
milk with my bulletproof, and that
That's
is
good.
yeah. Because I was thinking like
Yeah.
butter and gelatin and MCT oil and coconut, it just doesn't sit well with
Yeah.
me, and I feel so like anxious all day.
Yeah.
But then if I have it with milk, like raw milk, and then a little bit of butter, a little bit of gelatin, I feel really good.
Yeah, that's good. You found the sweet spot
Yeah,
for
I
you.
found what works for me, but I
Yeah.
think I'm just definitely more calm.
Yeah.
So that's probably helped. Definitely.
Fully.
gelatin's soothing to the gut too, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Amino acid. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So does
heard-
that answer the question about
Yeah.
the constipation? But you had also some more on, skin breakouts and things like that are happening on the
Because some
cleanse as well.
obviously that's common as
Yeah.
and we've got it written in there like that is common. Like
From
people's
the
things flare up, when they do these die-offs, like psoriasis, eczema,
Yeah.
Yeah.
dry skin.
it's like the heavier ones like that, hey, that are really hard. Like I don't think the cleanse will help it for a month, but I think like if you've got psoriasis or eczema or dermatitis, like things that are like a deep fungal infection,
Yeah.
that's where it's like you come in and really can do the difference,
Yeah.
and get them on like a plan for 6 months to a year,
Yeah.
which will heal it long term. Like it's good for us because we get the short,
Yeah.
look at your skin now after a
Yeah.
month, and it's great for us, but it's probably going to go back the way, if you go back to the way you're eating, it'll go back to the way it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas like if you've got parasites, like you can get rid of them. It's not that hard.
No, and we're exposed to parasites all the time, but yeah,
And there's a balance there. We're not trying to get rid of them. We're trying to find the balance. Hey.
Oh, I like it when
Yeah.
your clients see the cleanse. So you guys have done the cleanse because the hardest bit is changing your diet that I find facilitating that. And then they've already done a bit of gut work. So I'm like hit the ground running when I see them. But like if you're struggling with eczema, psoriasis, anything long-term or chronic after a cleanse, like a cleanse is definitely going to, for some people, it completely heals all their problems.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's obviously a continuing immune response going on and a bigger picture that you need to address. That hasn't been, there might be continual nutrient deficiencies or like just simple stuff, but it could also be more complex. And that's when you really need to do some testing, like a gut mapping test or not. Like, can still do consults without testing, but it's important for people to see what they're dealing with so that, you can be also motivated because it's more targeted,
Yeah.
But yeah, you do get flare-ups on a cleanse. Your body is, so if you're dealing with removing fungus, which is normally goes together, fungus, bacteria, parasites, because the terrain is already there for these things, you're going to get a flare-up because your immune system is, your body's trying to get rid of it. And if you're, immunosuppressed or, you're not moving your bowels or whatever, or there's a lot to get rid of, it's going to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
And so those symptoms, whatever you've already got, will normally flare more. So psoriasis, obviously that's an autoimmune thing. If you've got fungal infections anywhere, like that's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So it's trying to die. Anything that's trying to die is trying to survive. So it kind of ramps it up a bit. And there's also
Yeah.
that shedding process of
Yeah.
parasites and stuff. And
But it makes
the
a lot
cyclic
of
nature.
sense that it would take a little bit longer for something that's in the blood or it's in
Yeah.
coming out of the skin, because the skin's the last organ to
Yeah.
get nutrients. So you're like, well, there's a bigger problem at play,
Yeah.
but it's okay. It's like, don't stress about it and just, you know, think of it like, I think like a year. I think of everything like a year.
It's definitely
Like
always.
you'll change so much in a year. We turn over complete bodies in 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's like you can change anything. You just got to change. You can't go back to the way you were. It's like,
Yeah.
but change things small.
Totally.
That's the key. Hey, it's like
Yeah.
people get so overwhelmed. They're like, all right, let's start with water. Meditate, 10 minutes of meditation every 3 hours. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like you don't have to go so crazy. You just start with, let it come to you, let it pull you in.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like, okay, we'll just start with water for this month. That's big enough,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Some people are really motivated and want to do everything at
Yeah.
once. But
Yeah.
I think the long term.
Well, they're ready, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they are ready. And then people who maybe survive with it more long term have experienced it. Like
Yeah.
have gone through the, I'm going to change my water. Oh, okay, I feel better. And then they're like, okay, I might change my food a little bit. And then
Yeah.
they're more aware. And then those habits become more sustained.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
I find if it's slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just working with everyone's different again.
Yeah.
Like
I
whatever
know, I
works for
know.
you in your
whatever
life.
works
like,
for you, whatever you're pulled towards, eh?
Yeah, because you know.
If it's
There might be-
HJs, then it's
Like it's
No,
crazy.
definitely not.
Crazy. It used to be hard to like not get the KFC.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if the boys are getting the KFC, like oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
love
Now
that.
it's like well, it doesn't even cross my mind the slightest. It's nice that it's at that point in
Yeah,
my life.
fully,
It's taken
eh?
years.
Back in those days.
How's
Yeah.
like my mate? You know how I was talking about my mate that has like the parasite infection and fungal infection. He's one that has seizures all the time and in the system, like the
Yeah.
doctors haven't even looked into that shit. Now it's getting to the taking the piss where the skin's basically falling off his feet. You know what I mean? Like you know
Oh
when
my
they start
God.
to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
shed, like
Yeah.
where it's just so fungally.
Mm.
I even pulled up the Paul video. Like there's a Paul video talking about these are common things with like parasites. Like you get pimples that like can't be popped and
Yeah.
like these sort of things that pop up. Man, he's just got every fucking one under the
Yeah,
sun.
yeah.
His dog's dragging its ass on his carpet.
Oh my God.
and just but cannot do it.
No way.
Cannot cut the sugar out. They've got control of him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny. I'm
full
watching a show.
control.
He's the host.
He's
eh?
the host, man. And
Yeah, and fungal infections normally drive up that sugar craving a lot more than
Yeah.
parasites.
waking him up in the middle of the night to go drink Pepsi and shit.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Whoa.
It's just-
Dude,
Yeah.
he needs to. Yeah. He needs some
Oh
help.
man, I don't know. Yeah, but it's funny. I'm watching a show called The Strain. I started watching it on the plane, and it's like this vampire version of these parasites.
Yeah.
and like so basically these parasites get into your skin from the original vampire thing, and they make your tongue like it's like a vampire, but the tongue shoots out like 2 meters and attaches to the neck and shit. And
Yeah.
there's all worms crawling through their body, and I
Whoa.
was like, this is what I'm thinking about when I'm seeing them all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like seeing what the amount of worms that would just be crawling through and just
Yeah.
controlling everything, man. And tapeworms and worms are known to cause seizures and shit too, and trigger fits, especially because I think tapeworms can go near the brain. Is that right? Or some sort of worm. So they found They found like worms in the brain and shit before.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
And cancer, and they're looking at like tumors act almost like a parasite, and how is it like that book is called The Fungal Link because it's the fungal link to cancer. So there's a massive link to parasites and cancer, and parasites and endo. I've been reading up a fair
Yeah,
bit about
definitely.
that. So it's just like so many things.
Yeah, and you think about why we're getting parasites. It's like because our soil's deficient.
Yeah.
We're not eating organic food. We're not drinking good water. It's all the basics. It's like you look at a plant that's sick and it looks like it's going to die. And it's like we're basically sick plants because we're nutrient deficient.
Yeah.
But if we just up that a little bit, we can fucking become we just want life force energy. That's all the body needs.
Totally.
And then let the universe do the work. Like it'll feed you what it needs of the sun. And like we're getting more and more scared of things like no sun and all that.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
there's a lot, isn't there, that to question and not believe.
Yeah, I know.
At Coles, like when I'm there, I have a bit of a joke going on. Like whenever I'm picking tomatoes or if I'm desperate and I have to shop at Coles,
Yeah.
it's like I don't really want these anemic tomatoes. Like they look anemic.
Yeah, fully. Yeah.
Fruit is
How
like-
do you think you're going to look like if you're eating anemic tomatoes?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, when I was in Karratha, they used to put stickers on the holes in the fruit and shit. Like that's how
Wow.
like bad it was.
Yeah.
And like the
Wow.
apple would be like mushy, where
Yeah.
it's like, but here's a question.
Yeah.
Why do you think parasites are still such a taboo or misunderstood topic in mainstream health, especially amongst, they'll just say, get a test. If you have a parasite, definitely see your doctor. Definitely take whatever the pill is.
The antibiotics.
So why do you have an answer to that?
I've got a few answers. I think it's definitely, it depends what parasite you're talking about. So medically, there are some that can be tested and need to be addressed straight away. And they're obviously pathogens. So parasitic pathogens or bacterial infections, they need to be like sorted. So that's things like Giardia, Entamoeba, Cryptosporidium, like they're quite serious. And then there's more parasites that don't have an immediate effect on your body, but you've got them in your gut, and they can be pathotypes of those pathogens, like different strains, basically, different species, strains, sorry. And then you've just got your normal like Blastocystis, Dientamoeba, they're like benign parasites, but that's medically, they're known as benign because they're not going to, make you go to hospital. I think they're just the effect that it has on the body. There isn't enough research. And medically, it's like, weighing up what is going to affect a person more and what's, not the point and shoot kind of thing that a lot of people have done in the past. And so that means, sorry, let me explain myself. So what I mean by point and shoot is identifying a parasite, like a very common one, Blastocystis, and trying to kill that parasite. And then, you've kind of, and this is more of a naturopathic thing that's happened in the past, and then you haven't looked after or nourished the rest of your microbiome. And there's constant like killing off of these parasites with herbs and everything, and that actually throws out other things. So like that has been a bit of a taboo thing which has happened, and it's kind of turning around now. So I think there was a lot of light taken off parasites because of that. So now it's finding the balance between like the priority in the gut, like working on the whole thing at the same time rather than just one specific parasite, like working on why is it able to live there, like questioning those types of things, because I think in the past that has been a bit of an issue. And then also, and like if you're looking at treating parasites, there isn't like a lot other than targeted antibiotics, and sometimes they don't work.
Yeah.
So that's why there's not a lot going on. But yeah, they still can live in us, fine, and we're going to walk around healthy, sometimes. Not always, obviously, we know that, but that it's not going to kill us, basically.
Yeah.
So that's why I think,
There's
but
like
it's
the
still
misconception with it.
I mean, there's probably lots more other practitioners can add as well. And if anyone has any more questions, like I'm happy to answer them in the podcast notes.
Yep.
But yeah, bit of an overview. That's what I think. And testing isn't always accurate because of the life cycle of them as well. So it's hard to know.
Seen that heaps.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah.
Seen that
Yeah.
where they've just like, remember Ellie? We had Ellie on the podcast. She was fucked for like 2 years from Mexico, drinking water from a Winnebago in Mexico. She thought it was drinking water. She didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
And still didn't know that was where it was from until like a year later. They saw the people like, oh no, you can't drink that water.
Yeah.
And because she got the testing done and passed the test.
Yeah, nothing would be.
Yeah. And then her partner was like, man, I swear you got all the parasites. I'm listening to the boys' podcast and it just sounds like you got all these symptoms.
Yeah.
And then she goes like thousands of liver flukes, like thousands of liver flukes.
Yeah, that's
like,
so
causing her
normal
shit.
and common. Yeah. So you always need to be curious of that, definitely. I call them exotic parasites. So whenever someone comes to me, I'm like, where have you been? You can just go to Bali or go to Southeast Asia and you got something straight away, or Mexico or
100%.
Africa.
Yeah.
And that's where naturopathy is really good, because you can try and identify what it is. And always be curious about your tests, because we're just not there yet with how they...
Testing.
Yeah.
That's why the protocol is so good.
Yeah.
It's like you hit everything. You just start everything. And I mean, fuck, it's just like eating whole foods. Like if you actually followed that, eating good whole foods and cutting out crap, simple carbohydrates and stuff, you probably wouldn't have parasites.
Yeah.
Over time, that is.
Over time,
So,
yeah, surely. Like you hear people go on carnivore diets and then parasites come out of them eventually because they just have no sugar.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like we're talking about, we almost want to do a skit. I was thinking of a good skit to do of like trying to act like whatever your diet is and trying to be the archetype of that diet, like the fruitarian guy, and sort of talking like, trying to put a filter over the top of it that person would have.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so like remember the banana sugar lady? She was like a banana lady, eat 20 bananas a day.
I remember.
And now she's putting sugar crystals and everything, starting it down 50 grams of sugar,
yeah, I've seen
white
that.
table sugar too, saying it's crystallized nature.
Oh my God.
Right.
Wow.
And then she just looks like fucked, basically,
Yeah.
like just palish, you know? So I think the filter would be like pimples for that. And then like for the extreme vegan, it would be like the pale. And then for the carnivore, it'd be like they're going yellow a little bit. Like, but I was thinking that would be funny because that's where people could really understand, like, okay, this woman's saying we should, or I heard this fruitarian guy talking about how we should be eating fruit all the time. And even now he's against drinking water, I think, a little bit, and getting structured water from your fruit. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, you got 20 cavemen sitting around, fucking, I mean, we're all dead in winter, you know what I mean? And someone said, what if you don't live like there? He goes, well, humans are meant to be near the equator, so it should be moving towards the equator, and like just insane, man.
Yeah,
you know,
insane,
like,
yeah.
and then the banana, like 20 bananas a day. Okay, what if I live anywhere in the world that don't have bananas?
Yeah.
What if I'm in the season that doesn't have bananas? Like, it falls apart instantly. All these little diets, carnivore falls apart. What, you don't kill an animal, so you're not going to eat the sweet potato, like. And how good sweet potato?
Yeah.
You know, like it's naturally tasty. Fruit is naturally tasty. And there's this carnivore guy I follow, and he was looking healthy for a while there, and now I'm watching him go a little bit yellow. And I'm seeing the eyes. He's like, he's a smart guy. I'm like, oh, there's another person that's fallen to the diet. Doesn't realize he's doing the same thing that the vegans were doing. Like, I'm watching his health deteriorate. Yeah. But visually. Yeah. And unaware that, dude, how do you not know you need to eat a bit of salad? You know?
Yeah, for sure. Just follow your body. It becomes a belief. Yeah. And then your ego gets attached to belief, and then you can't stop the belief. Yeah. It's like you're like, fuck, now I'm the carnivore guy. Or like even Paul Saladino is like, now I'm the carnivore guy that has watermelon and a little bit of fruit. And it's like, who cares? Just fucking eat real food.
It's fine.
At the end of the day.
No one's gonna be watching.
Exactly.
I mean, they will be, but
I think it is good too. It's like people like him, like they do start the curiosity for a lot of people. Yeah. And because it's hitting the mainstream. True. So you are getting switching. He's helping a lot of people switch to organic meat. Meat. What kind of meat's that?
It's like you were trying to say moo.
Moo. That's the cow coming out of me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like they do help people, but you know, even like if you go vegetarian for a month max, you'll feel better because you're cutting out all the shit sometimes. Yeah. Actually, that's probably not true. I would not feel better. I tried it for 2 weeks and I felt fucked.
I'd feel hungry, dude. I remember times where I've done heavy workouts or like bruising from like kickboxing or some shit, and thinking, imagine if I had to go correct this bruising with celery right now. Like my body's just telling me, consume animal. Things need to die right now so you can sustain yourself.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just
when I deadlift, I have to eat like twice the amount of meat.
Yeah.
Like I just crave it and I cannot eat enough food.
Yeah.
It's like
I fasted on the plane on the way back. 14 hours.
Nice.
It's like I just couldn't cop it, man.
Nah.
Can't cop that shit.
Nah, you can't eat that shit.
I even said at the start, I don't want to be fed, and then they wake me up while I'm sleeping and try and hand me this fucking shit that all smells the same. And I'm just like, it's just the smell of it, you know? Yeah. I'm just like, oh, imagine starting the trip, you know?
Dude,
that stuff.
I met this chick. I think I told you, like I was on the way to, I was going to London actually, and I went through Dubai, and I met this chick. She came to give us like your slop on the plane. She's like, here's your slop. Like, and I was like, I'm not going to eat that or whatever. And then about 2 hours later, she came back to the seat and she's like, why didn't you want to take the food? And like was full curious, and we started talking about health and stuff. This is a long time ago. Ended up meeting up with her in Dubai. Wow. And I thought she was the one, but it turns out she's just like a full LSD, like mushroom head, crazy chick.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it was my birthday. I was 24 actually. It's so long ago. And I stopped in there and she had balloons like across the whole, like she had set it all up like that. Oh, it was pretty wild. Nice.
That's
never met her.
A little bit. Yeah. I guess it did.
It did a little bit, but then like she didn't, like it was just so weird. Yeah. Like I was, you know, you try and make the move and she didn't want to make out or anything. And I was like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, like did all the things.
Does
like,
she actually just want to be like my friend? Like what's going on?
Yeah. And like slept in the same bed, like didn't touch each other, and that was for 4 nights. Yeah. And I was like, well, see you later. Like, thanks for the balloons. Yeah. Like, what are do you want out of me?
That's so confusing.
Yeah, that
bro.
was hell confusing
Yeah.
too. And I was,
Especially for a 24-year-old.
yeah, 100%. I was like,
Yeah, I've been to a doof before, right? And I have a lot of friends in the LSD mushroom scene. I've
Yeah.
definitely gone heavy into that when I was younger, and it's another scene. It's
Yeah,
another,
yeah.
It's just another scene of drugs.
Yeah.
yeah.
And calling it spirituality, but it's not. Everyone's just drinking, getting fucked up, and looking like shit too by the end.
Yeah,
Staying
yeah.
awake for 2 days and someone else
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
shit. I'm like, and then this is the archetype of these crew. It's so good. The archetype is like they're really generous, but it's like, oh yeah, man, like you can have a piece of my kiwi fruit. Can I have 3 lines of your $350 bag? That's what it's like.
Yeah, fully. Yeah.
It's like, oh, what do you mean you don't share? Like,
Yeah.
and they like never works. There's no money and shit.
Yeah.
That wasn't like I never had it, but I saw it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, everyone's just trying to get shit from people and get their habit fixed.
How good's
Everyone's just desperate.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Literally, that's it.
How good's that in that book of awareness, how he talks about like even charitable things are done in a selfish way.
yeah,
And he's like, try and tell me it's not, like giving I'm the most giving person in the world. Like you're doing that in a selfish way to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah. He was saying
In
there's,
ways.
and he's saying it's not a problem. He goes, this is an
Yeah.
awareness. There's
Yeah.
always a level of selfishness to anything. It can even break down like even you could break down the person jumping on the bomb to save the mates.
Yeah.
Is the war hero, like
Yeah.
And he goes, that's just a subtle awareness that is behind it all.
Yeah.
And I've even spoken about that before. Like, you know what nearly gets me to cry is, besides people dying, like that I know, is watching the videos that you can go down rabbit holes on Instagram of the people that like have like give $1,000 to people that have like nothing, or like give someone, the lady that's working
Yeah.
7 days a week, that mum of
Yeah.
4, and then gives her $1,000 tip, and
Yeah.
she just cries.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that
That's
makes
nice.
me feel so
Yeah.
much. And I was like, I want to do that. And I thought about that. I was like, I want to do that because that's going to make me feel good. Like,
Yeah,
as well,
fully, yeah.
as well as like, because there was one in Bali. This is one that hit me. She was like, she makes like $10 a day or something, right?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, I forgot my cash, white dude, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, and then she gives him $10 basically, and he goes,
Yeah.
oh, I'll cover it. And then he's like, gives her, I think, like a $500 tip, and she just breaks down. And I was like, think about how nothing $500 is to us, and how much it just changed her whole. And I was like, fuck, you can do that everywhere. Even if you don't have the money, you can do that with making people feel good in life. And it almost makes, I think when we give, so we're talking about like in the future, having like a percentage, once Corrective can handle it, like towards charity. But like, I think our charity should be like, we actually just do something with the money and do
100%. Yeah.
instead of giving it to like this thing that's probably a tax fucking write-off.
I think like what Pargo's doing is great. Like,
yeah, exactly.
spending their money and going helping people get water, like things like something like that.
I'd like to
or
do something with
food.
dogs, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like I see the dogs that put in little baskets in China. I'm like, oh, I need to save
I
you all.
couldn't. That'd be really hard to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to like. I mean, just fucking.
I don't want to go and see it.
Let's not do
Let's
that.
just buy some dog food and take it to the
Yeah.
Some good dog food. Like we'll get them on the organic shit. Like
Yeah.
these local dogs, so they're not on the pal.
I love how Louis C.K. I think I've said it before, but like
Yeah,
how the guy
so
walked on
good.
the plane, and it was a war vet, and he was in business, and he's like, I should give that guy my seat, and then he goes, and then I just like nourished in that thought, and he goes, and then I just kept sitting there because he realized the thought was enough. Like,
He goes, he patted himself on the back just for thinking it.
Like, I'm
They
a good
didn't need
guy.
to give it to him. Yeah.
I'm a really good guy.
Next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
so good. Okay, so maybe any really good question you can think of has the last one that people always write in from the cleanse that's really good for like us doing the cleanse. Like, we've spoken before about reintroducing foods and how they make you feel and whatnot. Breastfeeding mothers. That's right. We haven't touched on that because a lot of women breastfeeding wonder if they can do it. We always say just no as a standard. Is that what you say, Stu?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or do a facilitated cleanse
Yep.
with a naturopath that can use different herbs.
Okay.
Yeah. Breastfeeding, it's just to, you're exposing the baby to those things, and
Yeah.
then, the die-off and the toxins, and the mother can sometimes be depleted from breastfeeding
Yeah.
if the nutrients haven't been there. So I think it's really important to just see someone first.
Yeah. And kids?
Yeah. Kids, again, same thing. They have different detox capacities and different, immune systems and things like that. So I definitely think that they need to see a naturopath too if you're gonna get them on a cleanse.
Cool.
But there's so many things you can do if you're a mum and you've got kids and you think they have worms as well. Like they can use your products definitely, but food wise, they need a specific dose. Like, I'm going to do the consult. So if you wanted to do, if any mums or anyone is keen and already on the cleanse or thinking about it, usually it's an hour and a half initial consult, but I'm doing an express one for the Corrective Culture crew. So that'll be a 45-minute session and you can just email in or inbox me and I'm happy to book you in.
$150 for 45 minutes. So
which is gold. So she doesn't usually do that. So if you're doing the cleanse, you're going to do the cleanse, you need some help on the cleanse, you're wondering, just email. Email's the best way?
Yeah, email or Instagram inbox, whatever you prefer.
And we'll put that in the show notes, but can you say it too, just for people?
Just say, so just email in or Instagram inbox me and just say Corrective Culture Podcast or whatever. I'm keen for a express consult. So that's normally a follow-up. You have to do a big intake and things like that, but just doing it
express
for you guys. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I do get a lot of questions about can I do the cleanse, this and that, but often it's really hard for me to answer because if someone has a complex history, if they're kids, I don't really want to answer that on Instagram. It's not something that I can address on there. So keen to help you guys.
And your email, what is your email?
I'll put it in the show notes. It's Gabriella at clinicanaturopathy.com. So it's my business, Clinica Naturopathy.
Yep.
And what's your Instagram, fam?
Clinica Naturopathy.
Oh, nice. Clinica.
But if I've got my private Instagram, but then
yeah.
I've got my business one, Clinica Naturopathy. Both are under my full name, but we'll pop it in the show notes as well.
Yeah. Cheer.
Yes, because otherwise you'll see what I do in my personal life. That's fine.
Nothing to hide there, fully.
But
don't look at it.
Anything else, Haz, that you're thinking of? That's it?
Yeah, that's an hour and a half.
Nice. Beautiful podcast. Another one. We'll do it again.
Another one, definitely. Thank you again for your time and everything.
Worries. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's always fun.
Legend. And then, I swear for the next time, this is what we'll do. I will get my microbiome tested. It's been sitting there for 2.5 years probably.
I can't wait to see what's in your poo, eh?
Yeah. And I'll get my Dutch test redone because I think I can redo that.
Cool.
Sitting there.
Yeah, that'd be good to see with the heavy metals, eh?
That one just does hormones, doesn't it?
Hormones. What one's the heavy metal? Just heavy metal.
Hair mineral
analysis.
That's right.
That'd be interesting to see where I'm at with that.
Yeah. Fuck, I'd love to do all mine again. And then we can use you as a
case study.
Yeah, because I was super high last time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd love to see mine.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Cool.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.